Hello friends, it's Chelsea Face here again. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I'm excited to show you a ton of books and some manga that I'm going to unhaul very soon. I've got them in these bags here ready to go. What I do, if you don't know, I'm also going to use this as just like a educational moment. What I do with my books that I do not like, because I do not keep every manga or every book that I read. If I did not love it, or if it's not something that I could see having some kind of memory with or attachment to or want to reread in the future, I do unhaul them. And then my first thing is, are they a book that is in condition that I can resell it? If I can resell it, I will list it on either Mercari or Pango or eBay or whichever platform I'm using. I do use Mercari the most at the moment. Not for any particular reason other than it's just the one that I picked. After a while of them being listed there, and I know I'm going to be going to Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is where some of our friends live, I will gather all of those books up that I have not sold yet online, and then I will take them to McKay's. If you're not familiar, McKay's, I'll put a picture here, is a store that pretty much will buy a lot of media like books, manga, comics, trading cards, vinyl, CDs, DVDs, things like that, and games, all kinds of stuff. And they give a pretty good trade-in value, and then they also give cash back, but the cash is always going to be less than the trade-in. So I usually do trade, but the good thing about McKay's is that I can go drop it off and say I'm going to want the value of both when I turn in everything that I want to trade in. And then I go look around and see if there's anything I want to buy while they're counting it up, because it's usually pretty crowded and it takes probably about 35 to 50 minutes for them to get all of my stuff calculated. And by the time that they do, I know if I want to use trade that day or if I would just want to take the cash and go. So most of the time I do the trade, but there have been once or twice where I've just done the cash because I didn't find anything I was looking for. But that's very rare because McKay's is so huge. But this isn't an advertisement for McKay's, even though it's one of my favorite bookstores in the world. This is an unhaul, so let's just get into it. I'm just going to be grabbing anything that's in these piles. It's not going to be manga first, books second. It's just going to be whatever I grab. So it'll be a mishmash of both, but I hope you enjoy this. I've got a lot of good stuff here. All right, the first book I'm going to unhaul is The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. I read this a few years ago, and while it was a good book, I did not necessarily love it. I think I gave it 3 stars. I think that a lot of people will love this. It's very shiny and pretty. And the atmosphere was really fun. It gave me vibes of The Horror as far as the atmosphere, if you've read that book by David Sodergren. But I didn't love the execution of the story. I think it was just kind of lackadaisical and boring, honestly. But I think if you're a younger audience, or if you're someone who just likes very chill, simple stories, it does have like a spooky element, like very light touches of Hocus Pocus, which I love Hocus Pocus. But it just didn't go there for me, so that's why I'm unhauling this one. It's in great condition. It's got a couple of little nicks in the corner, but they always take my books. I've never had them turn away anything I've given them, but I'm sure they do if it's not in good condition. Next up, I have Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Caw. This was one of those books that I got for like $5 at Barnes & Noble during the holidays, because they sometimes, if they get too many of a book, I think, and it's cheap enough, they will do like a deal. If you spend so much money, you get a book for nothing. Originally it's like $13, so it's a decent little deal I got off of it. And I love horror novellas. They're like one of my favorite things to read other than manga, but this did not hit for me. Once again, the atmosphere was spot on, perfect. Loved the spooky house that we're in, loved the idea of the book, but the characters were all unlikable. Like, not even like the bad guy characters were interesting to me. Everyone was just a bad person and not fun to listen to their story. You can hear the tornado sirens. They do testing on Tuesdays or Wednesdays here. Sorry if you can hear that in the background, but I'm gonna keep talking. I've got my Ida coffee mug here just to get me through this video, because y'all know how I am. Once I talk a lot, my voice starts to get shot, so a lot of talking going on in this video. Next up, I have Gillian Flynn's Sharp Objects. This is a short thriller, And I loved Gone Girl when I read that years ago when I was first getting back into reading. And it was great, but I picked this one up because it was on sale, and I thought, well, I liked her first book that I read, so maybe I'll like this one. I know this had a TV show on HBO, but I didn't love it. It was very forgettable to me, but a lot of people do love this. It had a little twist at the end that was really interesting. I think the twist was the best part. So if you like a good twist, this is good, but it just didn't hit it for me, so that's why I'm unhauling it. Next up, I have another thriller. This is Final Girls, a novel by Riley Sager. Riley Sager is like a super well-known thriller author, and I got this at a thrift store for I think $2. And it was fun when I read it. I really did enjoy this, but it's forgettable. Like, I remember the plot, like how it ended, so I don't think I'm gonna pick this up again. That's really what it is I remember the twist so well that I don't think this has any rereadable value to me, and I don't see any more value in keeping it on my shelves for any longer. I did keep this one for a long time because I did enjoy it, but I think it's time to let it go. Maybe someone else will enjoy it for the first time. I want to take a second to ask you guys if you like my channel and the videos that I'm making. I do book videos, but I also do a ton of manga content. That tends to be what I gravitate towards. Please take a second to comment on this video. That really does help me a lot in pushing in the algorithm. As of last night when I checked, I had 800 subscribers, so that's a huge deal for me. I sat very stagnant for a long time here on YouTube because I couldn't find my niche, and I finally found what I like to make content on and what people tend to gravitate towards for me. So it's been really fun. So thank you guys. Please interact with the video, whether that's liking or commenting or subscribing, and I do appreciate your time. The next book I'm going to unhaul is Kathleen Glasgow's How to Make Friends with the Dark. This is an arc, so I don't think they take arcs. So what I'm going to do is try to find a little free library in Chattanooga because we don't really have them here where I live. We've got like one or two, but they're just in disrepair, and the people who run them don't keep up with them. So I'm going to find some little free libraries, maybe stick these in there. This is a YA novel that's very dark and very sad, but also very hopeful. And to me, it was amazing, but I would rather have like a finished copy than an arc anymore. I don't know if I'll pick up a finished copy, maybe if I see it really cheap somewhere, but this was good. I do recommend it if you want to read this book. It's just really dark. This girl loses her mother, and it's just so tragic, the line that she has to go through the foster care system. So it's a heavy read. I won it in a Goodreads giveaway, so I'm going to donate this and hopefully get something cool in return. The next book I have is another arc that I received from Flame Tree Press. This was in April of 2022. This came out. This is Mark E. Fitch, Boy in the Box. Some Secrets Just Won't Stay Buried. I barely remember anything about this. I think it was like a 2-3 star, maybe 2.5 star. It's just about this group of friends who they did something really bad, and then something's haunting them later about it. So if you like indie horror, then Flame Tree Press is a good company to go through. They do really good with their arcs. I got several arcs here from them, and I've held on to them for a long time because they were one of the first companies who actually would let me read and review arcs. Now I have either purchased the books that I enjoyed from them, or I am just moving on to other things that I enjoy more. But I am a big horror fan, so if you like horror, I recommend checking out this company. They do a lot of really interesting indie publishing. The next one from Flame Tree Press that I'm going to unhaul is Hunter Shay's Slash, The Wraith is Back. This came out in October of 2019, and y'all, I hated this. I remember a lot about this book, and I thought it was going to be a good slasher because it's called Slash and it's a horror novel. This author is not for me. Like, I don't want to hate too hard, but honestly, the writing was awful. I did not enjoy the characters, not even the good or bad ones, just weren't fun to read about. The humor was off for me. You know how, like, I can't think of a better example, but like Rick and Morty or some shows that are like really, they'll have a really dark moment and then they'll make a joke and it kind of eases the tension. Well, this book, it felt like he was trying to do that, but instead of it easing the tension and making you feel not as in danger, not good. The characters would be in the middle of like a really deadly situation where this guy is chasing them, trying to slash them up and kill them, and literally just murder their friends like really horribly in front of them. But then they would make a dirty joke that was just not funny. And I think dirty jokes are funny. Like, I'm that kind of person, but it just didn't hit. Like, it felt really unedited and really out of place and just unnecessary and inappropriate, I guess. And I'm not that kind of person that's like, oh, this book is dirty, it's inappropriate. No, it just felt inappropriately placed. Did not like it. Will not continue to read anything by this author just because of the writing style. But if you like gross, dirty, men-written horror, maybe you'll like it. I don't know. The next arc I got from them is a good book. It was called Second Lives by P.D. Casick. I'm not sure how you say their name, I'm sorry. I enjoyed this. It's a thick book. This was in April 2019, and it's about a bunch of different people, different perspectives, where they pretty much are like, I guess, reincarnated, and they live through different people in different timelines, and they kind of learn from those experiences about what they should have done better or what they wasted in their real life. So it was good. I enjoyed this, but once again, I'm just going to donate these arcs to Little Free Libraries, and maybe someone else will get more joy out of them than I did. The last arc, I think it's the last one from them, is the first arc I ever received. So this is like kind of sad to let this go, but at the same time, I'm never going to reread this. It was okay. I don't remember how many stars I gave it, but the best thing about this book was that at the end you could translate like a little code that was given throughout the chapter headers. I think that was the best part because you got a little treat at the end. And I had it in here on a piece of paper, but I guess I threw it away. I did highlight in this one. I was trying to be really serious about my arc review. I highlighted passages that I thought were dumb. Let's see if I can find one. Okay, yeah, you can see here on the first page where it's a Q&A with the author, and on this front page, the first the third sentence on here, it says, "I didn't want to write it, I was forced to." And the first thing I see is that, and I thought, well, then why did you write it? Like, I don't know, like that's so cheesy, and it didn't hit right. It didn't feel natural to me to say something like that. So it didn't hit. It's about a guy who pretty much is just kind of sent through some torment, like pre-hell or something. I don't know. I didn't quite understand where it was going the whole time. It kind of just felt convoluted, but there were good elements of horror in this, so I guess it's okay. Next up, I have another thriller. This is by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, The Wife Between Us. I did enjoy this when I read it initially. I think I have a video way back when I talked about this. If you want to see my old bookish content, you can definitely scroll back through my videos. I liked this, but I can't tell you much about it other than the twist at the end. That's kind of how thrillers go for me, and I guess that's pretty normal because, you know, the rest of the book is just kind of things happening, and then at the end you get the little reveal. So it was fun. It was worth the read at the time, but I don't know if I would enjoy this again, so I'm just not going to reread it. And I no longer feel the need to keep it on my shelves, so someone else will probably enjoy that a lot. Next up, I have a light novel. This is one that I got for Christmas last year, so I've almost had it for an entire year. And I'm really sad that I didn't like it. Like, I want to like light novels because I love reading books and I love anime and manga. And it feels like the perfect combination of two things that I really care about. I've read one or two so far and I have not found anything that I like. So I think what I need to do is find ones from series that I actually enjoy first, and they actually add a little bit of content, like maybe My Hero or Apothecary Diaries or Bleach or something, because this just didn't hit. I didn't know anything about it other than it sounded really cute and the art was cute. It's called Chitose in the Ramune Bottle by Hiromu, and illustrations by Raemz, R-A-E-M-Z, because there are some artwork illustrations in this of the characters during some scenes. It was terrible. I read like a quarter of this and I just couldn't do it anymore, y'all. It read very juvenile, it read very immature, and very like, oh, I'm such a cool guy and everybody loves me and I'm just so popular and we're just so popular. It was cringy. And I get that that's probably the point. Like, he learns a lot, I'm guessing, throughout the series. This is volume 1, of course. And I just couldn't get into it. The guy just really annoyed the heck out of me, and The girls were cute. I get that this is supposed to be sort of like a harem in high school or whatever. Like he's so hot and all these girls want him or whatever. But it wasn't even fun. Like normally with a harem, I like it to be fun. And this was just annoying, and the guy just thought he was hot shit the whole time and nothing happened. Next, I have a volume of manga that just didn't hit. Like I keep saying, this is volume 1 of Gazing at the Star Next Door by Imitsu. I have had this listed online for a while and no one has purchased it, and it's not like a crazy price. Like I do sell them for cheaper than I purchased them, and it's in excellent condition, so I don't know why I hadn't sold it yet, but that tends to happen every once in a while. So I will be taking this to McKay's and selling it. A lot of people like this. It just wasn't for me. It kind of matches my Christmas tree though. It looks really cute. I think there's just so many manga coming out right now where a girl is dating a famous person or they're friends with a famous person, and I don't know, I don't think that's my favorite trope. I've read a couple like that and it's starting to get old to me. I hate when I don't know that's what's gonna happen in the book. At least this one was pretty upfront with what happens. Also, I hate this cover. Like if I'm being honest, I hate that this looks like they did it in Microsoft Paint. Like I just hate that. As a graphic designer, it looks really lazy. Like I'll be real with you. And Kodansha, I feel like they've done better in the past, but you know, either way, if someone else enjoyed this, I'm glad. I hope that it gets the recognition it deserves from people, because the artwork's gorgeous. Like I flipped through this and I wish I enjoyed it because it looks really fun, but I got about halfway through it and I was bored to tears, so just not for me. Next up, I have a book that I did enjoy and the cover is stunning, and I wish that I wanted to keep it on my shelves, but y'all, I didn't love it enough to do that. This is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This is the cool VHS paperback copy. Y'all, this cover is stunning. Like, I want to keep it. I really do. But I don't want to reread it, so there's really no point in me keeping it in my shelves, right? I'm trying to do better about letting things go if they do not bring me joy every day, or if I don't feel anything when I look at them. Everybody raves about Grady Hendrix's books. This is the only one I've read and I didn't love it. I think I gave it like 3 stars. It was kind of mid to me. Exorcism stories are all very similar. They're always going to follow a path of how they are done because it's just a very common trope in horror. I don't think this one was done very well personally. I mean, yeah, you had all of your usual tropes and things, but I don't know. I feel like it could have gone darker, but maybe he was trying to make this for younger audiences and that's why. It just wasn't for me. But a lot of people love this, and the cover, like I said, is like, it's got the stickers like a novel, be kind, please rewind, and it's got like the VHS here. Stunning cover, absolutely gorgeous. I know someone's gonna be really excited to see this on the shelves, so that brings me joy knowing that someone else will really like that book. And the next book I have is Song of Silver Flame Like Night by Amelie Wenzhou, author of the Blood Heir trilogy. I struggle with buying brand new books at like Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or whatever. Not my indie bookstore. Anytime I bought a brand new book from my indie bookstore, I've had really good luck, and I don't know what that says. When I go to like a big chain bookstore and I just pick out something that sounds good, I never like it, and that really makes me sad. This is another example of that. I purchased this less than a year ago, like a few months ago before I went to a wedding. And I was so excited to read this because I really like YA fantasy, especially when it's Asian inspired, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, like any of the Asian cultures. I really enjoy reading fantasy novels based in that. I didn't like this. I was bored to tears. I got about to here, I think. And the writing just wasn't for me. I don't know what it was. It just felt very confusing to me. Almost like there were 12 books before this one and I was very confused. And I tried to make sure this was the first book. So if I'm just dumb, let me know in the comments if you know about this book. But for me personally, I was lost. I didn't vibe with the writing style. I kept forgetting what I had read. I kept having to go back and read passages. It just wasn't as easy to digest. And I feel like for a younger audience, it might be a little convoluted. I don't know. It seems popular enough. It just wasn't for me. Next up, I have movie poster version of I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. The movie's better, if I'm being honest. I didn't love this book. I think it had some really cool elements of like zombie-fied horror, which they're actually vampires if you didn't know. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but the movie's better. They handle a lot of the issues in this much better. There was a lot of sexism in this book that was not fun to read. I don't know. It's okay. I liked it for a while. There's some short stories in this as well because the book is not that long, but I don't need this copy. Okay, so just for a second here and another break, I want to talk about something that I want you guys to know about because I don't really talk about it here as much as I should. I have an online Etsy shop, and if you are a fan of my content and you want to check out my artwork, or if you just love supporting indie artists, please consider checking the link in the description to my Etsy shop. I make a ton of different products, but I'm just going to show you one product today in 4 different variants. I do watercolor Christmas cards and illustrated hand-painted cards, and these are great for Christmas. I just picked out 4 different designs to show you today. This one's just a cute Santa hat. This one is some Christmas lights. This is Merry and Bright. I really enjoy making art. Recently, with all the things going on in the world and in this country, it's really brought me peace. So I do recommend getting a hobby. Even if reading is your only hobby, I recommend trying something new every once in a while just to spark joy in your life. Whether that's taking a walk, painting a picture, or just taking photos, or whatever it is you like to do. The world's crazy, so if you want to support me and what I do here and my passions, you can check out the link in the description and purchase a cute Christmas card. I also do stickers, hats, plush toys, tons of different products, and thank you so much for supporting my channel. Next up, I do have another ARC. This one I think I won in a Goodreads giveaway. It's called The Loop by Jeremy Robert Johnson. This was a great book. I would like to have a finished copy of it because it was so good, and I think I could reread this one day. It's like a horror novel with like a sci-fi zombie element to it. I don't want to spoil too much for you, but that's kind of just the roundabout gist of what happens in this book. It was very good. It came out in September of 2020. So I do recommend reading this if you ever get the chance. It was real spooky, real scary at the time, and it takes a lot for a book to actually kind of scare me. So I feel like this is a good one if you're into zombie-ish apocalyptic stories. Next up, I have a few little mass market paperbacks. This is Men in Black, the movie edition. I bought this to read it for a video and for some fun nostalgia, but I never read it, and I just don't feel the need to. It's very old. I think I paid $1 for this, so I'm just gonna pass it on. It wasn't a crazy expensive book, so it's no big deal. I also have Lisa Gardner's The Neighbor. I did enjoy this when I initially read it. My sister picked it out for me when I was getting back into reading at a library book sale, so it was super cheap, but I just don't think I'm ever going to reread it, and the twist was mid at best. I enjoyed it at the time, but you know, whatever. This is another one that's like a movie that I never read that I planned to read, so I've just got to stop doing that. I did stop doing that, but I still really like the Alien novels. I might pick those up if I see them, but it's really hard to find those in person, so I'm going to stop doing that for everything else because I just don't enjoy them long term. Next up, I have, another ARC. I must have missed this one. This is Jonathan Jan's The Dark Game. I liked this one when I first read it. It was probably my favorite of my ARCs that I received from Flame Tree Press. I don't think I'll reread it. It had a lot of characters in it. Very interesting premise of like these authors who write horror, I think, go to this mansion that's like haunted, and they just write, and whoever writes the best story gets like fame and fortune guaranteed, like Stephen King level. And it was okay. I think that there was some really great dark, gross, gritty characters in this, and that was the most interesting thing to read about. You can go see my reviews of this. I think it was my favorite out of all of them. I think I gave it 4 stars, but I just don't feel the need to keep the ARC here anymore, so I'm going to pass that along to someone who might enjoy it more. I also have another book. This is the one book that I got from my local bookstore that I didn't love. I liked it. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. It's a short story collection by Carmen Maria Machado. I loved In the Dream House by this author, but I did not love this short story collection. I think it had some good ones in here, but overall I just wasn't in love with it. I gave a lot of the stories 1 and 2 stars, and I think my favorite story was The Resident. If you've read this, you know about that, but it's not enough for me to keep it, so I'm just going to take my notes out of it and resell it. I think someone else will really like that story. It's a very good feminist short story collection. My dog's just like staring at me, and he looks so sad for some reason. I've only got a few left, baby, and then we can go outside. I don't know if that's what you want because you're not telling me. You're normally really good about telling me what you want to do, but you're not right now. I think he's upset because his dad's not here and I'm home alone. Next up, I have a volume of manga. This is Stray Cat and Wolf by Mitsubachi Miyuki, the same creator as Cheeky Brat. I have not read Cheeky Brat, but I've been scared to pick it up because I don't like anything else I've read by this author. I didn't like this at all. I thought I would because it looks so fun and funky and the premise sounded fun. It's about a dude who's like a rock star, not a rock star, but he's a rocker. But it felt very predatory, like in a oogie way. And I read a lot of stuff that's like, you know, the age limits are a little convoluted and a little unbelievable, but they're fun and they make it lighthearted and a good time to read. This just didn't feel fun. I didn't enjoy it, so I'm gonna resell that. I also have volume 24 of Ron Mahaf. This one was an ex-library copy and I peeled off all the stickers, so I think they'll take it. Very little damage, and considering they take a lot of used manga regardless, I think it sells very well for them. So I don't think that they'll turn it down, and it's a rare type of manga to get anyway. So I already had a copy. I think I bought 2 on accident, so I'm going to be reselling that one. And then I also have volume 26, which this one might have been the one that I had 2 copies of, and the other one I did not want to keep it based off of something. I don't know. Either way, I'm reselling both of these. This one's in excellent condition, like perfect. I think the other one I had was just a little bit better condition. So yeah, I'm going to sell those 2. And the last thing I have to unhaul, this has been a pretty long video honestly, is a series that I purchased in full. Luckily it was only 6 volumes, but I'm really disappointed that I did not enjoy it. I read the first volume and part of the second one, and I just couldn't go any further. I was bored to death, and I love their other series that's super popular now, but this one didn't hit. This is Waking Up Sleeping Beauty. It's by the same creator as A Condition Called Love. This is Megami Morino, and it's 6 volumes. I got them at a really, really good deal. I think I paid like $32 for the whole set, which is crazy because they retail at $13 each. So you can do the math there and see how much I saved. I don't like the story. I think it had elements to it that could have been done well, but I don't think the writing was very good. The artwork is gorgeous. If I'm just looking at the art, 10 out of 10. Absolutely beautiful. This creator is very talented, and even the covers are beautiful, every single one of them. I wish I could keep this, and it's harder to find nowadays. Like, this series is getting harder to find, and I don't think that they're going to reprint it. And I'm sure that it's a great ending. I'm sure that this is a wonderful series, but honestly, y'all, if I'm not loving something I'm reading and I don't think that I'll love it in the future, I'm going to get rid of it because I've got so much in my collection already. And I only want to keep things that I love. And that's something I want to hold to. And I didn't love this, so I'm sure I will find someone who loves this way more than I do. And I think I'm just going to take it to McKay's. Someone locally will get really lucky and find the whole set. Hopefully they'll buy the whole thing and not just a volume or 2, but that's up to them. And I just can buy more books that I do enjoy. That's everything I have. I can't hold them all because that would just be impossible. It's a pretty big unhaul. I have had bigger before. I just never shown them to you. I don't think I've ever done a book unhaul here, but I like watching them and listening to people's reasons for unhauling their books and their manga. I think it's really interesting to hear thoughts on things that I loved and things that I hated also. That's essentially what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Especially commenting help boost me in the algorithm a lot. I do appreciate every single person who comments. If you ask a question and I get to see it, I will comment back and reply to you and try to help you out as best I can with any of these that I've shown today. Sometimes YouTube doesn't show me, but I'll do my best to check it out. But I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season. I just got done with a Christmas parade last night. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.